Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to share with you a conversation between myself, Jim Morgan, and Stever82 where we discuss the best low mana monsters in Splinterlands. We're looking at 1 mana monsters, and specifically we start the conversation around the Chaos Agent and just unpacking how that's great and when and how to use it. But then it turns into a broader conversation toward the end of the video where we get into comparing the 1 mana monsters and where they each fit into the rotation and which ones are best and worst. So it's a great conversation, and it involves me, Stever82, check him out on YouTube, and Jim Morgan. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Make sure you like and subscribe with them, too. Have an amazing day. God bless. Somebody had a question from the audience, totally unrelated, but it seems like a kind of a fun thing we could all comment on. And pardon me, that's also going to be relatively quick. Whiskey Business was asking, Dwayne, if you could take a moment to talk over your thoughts on Chaos Agent as a 1 mana neutral monster. What are your thoughts in general, especially at higher leagues? I like that card a lot, so I wanted to talk about it, but let's pull it up on the screen here.
You mean that completely broken card? Who doesn't like that card? No.
And that card's terrible. Don't buy it, guys. You know what? Sell your copies.
For less than asking, right? Let's see here.
Come talk to me. Send me your DMs.
Yeah, DM. This card was, I'm pretty sure I remember the first person I ever heard say this card was like something to look out for was actually Crypto Llama. And it was before the cards were actually out. We were looking, I remember he and I were looking at these together with the data that they'd given us. And neutral, 1 mana, and having like the phase, if you can build the right speed team, it's so ridiculous to have a 1 mana cost tank that is actually potentially far more resilient than you might at first believe. Like 2 hit points isn't enough, you say, right? But if you got if you get that 4 speed, first of all, you got 3 hit points. And then second of all, the phase can dodge anything, right? Like, I mean, if you have enough speed, you can dodge a melee, you can dodge an archery, but with phase, then you can also dodge the only other type of magic or attack there is, which is magic. So you literally can be invincible if you provide enough speed. And he doesn't have flying. So that means that snare, which is sometimes like a kind of catch-all for fast cards, if it can be one of the things that helps you hit them. But this guy, I know not many people, maybe not everybody, not many people have Kitty, but holy cow, I love this card in the context of Kitty, or even if I'm using quicks, but then I'm building like a bunch of slows or swiftness into my team. And especially on, these are those cards that you need to have, like Chaos Agent, yes, but all of the different 1 cost mana cards are so important for that those equalizer battles, because they are going to cost you nothing and give you so much tank for the mana cost. I'd love to hear both of you guys, but Jim, let me know your thoughts first, and then Steve.
For what, that card
Specifically, Chaos Agent, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that card's beautiful, especially if you can get it in gold, right? Even as a one-of, if you're playing in low tier or mid tier, just having even that 1 drop gold and being like, oh yeah, I get a free 10%, not only DEC, but then also the R shares as well.
Totally.
I'm a huge fan of this card. I made sure to go out and get copies of it as gold.
Yeah. And at 1 BCX gold, you're already getting dodge because you're at level 3. For $2, you can buy it for a high bid of 180. I mean, this card is definitely a must-have, and I think I play it. I have a max level copy in gold foil because it was one of those cards. I think I have max gold foil, but I definitely have max, and I use it all the time. I think
it's very efficiently statted.
Yeah, totally.
For its cost.
Totally. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, that's probably the best 1 cost card in the game.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And it's because it can fit into any position. It can tank, it can be a sniper dodge, it can be a sneak dodge. It can go into all 3, which the other 1 drops can't do because they can't take sniper target. the way he can. So you can use him in any of those spots as either at low level, like, well, he's going to take one of those hits for you.
Yeah.
He also at low level can be like a bane of like slower opportunity monsters. He's only one cost, an equal opportunity. He becomes the most ridiculous tank you've ever seen when you see him sitting there with like 15 or 16 life for one
I know.
for one mana with dodge, phase, high speed, and he starts dealing back the when you have him maxed out, he has the what backfire, so he starts dealing damage back.
You like him more than Pellicor Conjurer and Health Equalizer? Because I'm a huge fan of Pellicor Conjurer.
For my tank, I will use like that. If it's equal, that card has to be on the board.
I use
Now
them both.
the Pellicor one is good too, so you might just end up using both because he is a neutral card. But for sure, the only time I don't play that card is really really high mana Equalizer.
Yeah.
Because then a one cost doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But if you're anywhere in the normal thing, I mean, he can be just a devastating tank. Especially because and you can do you can do like a funny like kitty match with him in the front, like you were saying, Dwayne, and like a 14 or 15 Equalizer match because he's only going to cost one.
Yeah.
And then you can get him up to like 8 speed if you're playing in champion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. You're right. He's ridiculous. The only thing is if you the only wrong way, in my opinion, to use it is really, well, maybe there's several. Like you mentioned in a high mana match and thinking, oh, I'll just use this guy because he's good. Yeah, you're right. Like there are often other better solutions that are for higher mana costs. But in those low mana opportunities or an Equalizer, where it's like a low-ish mana, 20-ish, 20, 25, 30, because then you can get, maybe you bring in like a heavy hitter legendary summoner, and then you put in like one heavy hitter in the back line, and you fill it out with some of the Pellicor Conjurers and the Chaos Agents to fatten up the front end for relatively inexpensive. But I think the one way that the one thing that I don't like about him, or that the trap I fall into sometimes when I use him, is thinking that he's got enough speed as is to just be what I want him to be, and he doesn't out of the gate. Even like if you've got a max level copy and you're getting 4 speed, you think, wow, that's pretty fast, and he's got dodge, so he's got like a 55. I think dodge is 15%, or maybe it's 25. I forget now, but it's you think, oh, that's pretty good dodge. Well, he has such a small amount of hit points. Pretty good, not good enough. You need to, if you're gonna play this guy, it needs to be in the context of like, you just know you're gonna be 8-9 speed or like 80-90% dodge opportunity against him, because or it's just a throwaway. Like, I mean, sometimes it is a throwaway. Sometimes you put it in that snipe position and you really don't care. He's just kind of there. In a game I was playing while we were all talking about other things a minute ago, I put him in the rear because I want a sneak attack defender that might dodge. But if you're going to use him like a tank, I think he can be so nasty if you really equip him with the speed, or if you have a blind on your team, or if you have some swiftness or some slow on your team. But he's just he is very easy to kill with one hit. And so if you don't equip him with some support, then he is really, I don't see any difference in that context. Like if you don't help him, you might as well put a creeping ooze. It's like, at least that's going to give you your full team a slow. This guy needs that sort of, unless it's Equalizer, and then Equalizer, this thing is ridiculous. And of course it has zero problems at when Equalizer comes into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it when it's right to play the card, it's usually because it's going to make a huge difference for your team.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play him with speed. You can give him an armor, so the one time they do hit him, they don't kill him. Yep. And it can be a very fun little card. And what it can allow you to do is usually play something else bigger behind him that you wouldn't normally play in that situation, or use a summoner that you wouldn't normally play, because instead of using like a 4-cost summoner with a 2-cost card for a total of 8, you could use a 7-cost summoner in him, and then you got 8 mana, so it's comparable, and you could fit it in more places.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, obviously amazing. The only thing that we said about it that was I'm not sure I agree with, but it is probably true, but maybe I don't disagree, is just it's the best 1-cost card. I think it's definitely the best of the new ones, but then if I include Creeping Ooze for 1 card for 1 mana to be able to slow my opponent, and 1 speed can change the whole game. The whole, like, you can delete a monster because you're just that much quicker. But they're totally different. Like, it's like one is like a little mini tank that is a really, I want them both. I wouldn't take Ooze or Chaos Agent. I'd be like, I'm obviously buying both. They're both too good.
Yeah, Ooze is a powerful card, but it doesn't. It like, I don't feel like it can win a game by itself that often. It can be helpful,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of cards that do slow now. That used to be more special, but you can do a lot of 2-cost cards that do slow. So there's not a lot of cards even with dodge, and certainly not a lot of cards that are low mana with dodge. There's only a few.
I do like, for me, one of the things I'll do a lot though is I'll put like an Almo Cambio or a Nightmare, cards with significant speed and evasiveness, or specifically with phase. I'll find really great fit, like Nightmare has phase. I think Almo does also. And then I want to equip my whole team with speed alteration buffs or nerfs. And so to me, what that usually means is a high mana cost. But with card, I find this is a card I play. I know it's old, right? This is one of the old cards, so maybe people don't so much care about it because everyone's thinking I'm going to play modern. But man, I mean, I know you have it, Steve, but not everybody is going to have this card because it's quote unquote old and they don't even want to play in wild. But I think this is oh, it's so good. And you can get that same benefit too if you got like if you got 1, 2, or 3 BCX, or 1 to 5 BCX, because you got no attack, and so you can take advantage of the sniper defense, like you were saying with the Chaos Agent. But they're both great.
The difference for me is Creeping Ooze, as he levels, loses abilities. Like, he can't be a sniper target. He gets that weird melee attack that doesn't really help him well.
Yeah.
Chaos Agent just gets better. He gets more speed, more health, more ability. So he actually is a playable card, at almost every level. Ooze is really devastating in the beginning. I feel like he becomes a little less devastating later, unless you're doing what you said, which you're like building your whole team to slow down the other team, and a 1 mana slow, it would just, you couldn't fit in a 2 or a 3. And
the synergy is just really good.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those cards. This is a different topic now. But I
forgot about Brownie. Brownie might be better.
Oh, Brownie. Good call. I forgot about Brownie too.
Because the speed up and the inspire on the green team for 1 is pretty wild sometimes.
The only bad thing about Brownie is that it doesn't usually have armor, but now I guess it can, because you got what's Queen Mycelia.
Queen Mycelia, yeah.
Because I used to play him all the time, and the one thing, opportunity would strike and get him, and that's so annoying. But yeah, I mean, you just, now Queen Mycelia's got his back. I almost want to.
Brownie.
You're right. These are among. If these are not the 3 best 1-cost mana cards, I'm pretty sure these are the 3 best 1 mana cards. There are others I love, but I'd love to see what people say in the chat. Like, if these aren't, or what are we forgetting? Because to me, I think I like the fire monkey or whatever, flame monkey.
Flame monkey's a baller.
Epona. Lordo says Epona. I don't own Epona, and I always forget about it.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should have said these are the best obtainable level 1 cards, because I forgot about the dice 1 mana cards.
Dude, look at this thing.
That's because almost nobody has them.
Look at this thing. This is ridiculous. Strengthen, divine shield, immunity, and repair. This thing is baller.
Albatross is a monster too.
Yeah.
That healing, that tank heal.
Yeah, I love that card. I use it all the time. Albatross is
He's
a great one.
fast. He's got the flying. Woo.
The tank heal for 1 mana, dude. And
Yeah.
and to be able to just, you can like triple heal, you know, you can do crazy heals with, especially with like the old deck with the, because you've got the, oh, what's that card called? It's like, hang on, let's go like this. Tank heal. Crustacean King is the one I was thinking of. Albatross, Merdali Guardian, triple heal, plus you can do a tank that heals. I mean, at that point, it's literally too much heals. You need to diversify and bring in some more damage.
I think at that point, you're better off having a resilience tank, so void and shield as well.
Yeah, and then Merdali would give you the repair also, dude. There's so many fun. I love this game, man. I love it. It's been almost, I don't know, maybe it's been 4 years now, and I'm still geeking out about the card combinations and being like, okay, what would I do with that? And I'm legitimately interested to hear how you guys would respond to the question about the Chaos Agent and other things too. And then, well, what are some of the other 0-1 costs that are really amazing?
There's one we're forgetting about, guys. The Mighty Dricken.
I've never. That's the dragon that flies in a melee sneak attack, I think, for one. But that thing's like $1,500 per BCX or something stupid.
Oh, that's Shinlo. Shinlo has
Shinlo
sneak.
is the sneak one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't talk about cards that you can't. You know, no one can.
What do you mean? What do you mean we don't talk about those cards?
Have you ever even seen that card in battle?
I've seen it one time, a single once.
Like I've seen like once or twice that even in Champion that I run into somebody who runs a Shinlo or a Dricken, and it's an interesting card.
Sure is. Sure. Shinlo. Let's look at this. I want to see the circulating supply of this thing. There's 95.
For 20 grand, you could get a maxed out Shinlo.
20 grand.
There's like 138 or something of this in existence.
Oh man!
Wow.
I had one of these once upon a time.
I never did.
Wow.
I ended up selling it at some point and put it into other cards.
Yeah.
Because I just realized I wasn't going to level it. So
yeah. Sometimes the cards are okay with that way. Oh, you know what? Here's another one that I love that nobody's mentioned yet. I play it all the time. It's a death card. You guys know what I'm thinking about already if I say death?
Shadowy Presence?
Yeah, the Presence?
Shadowy Presence.
Yeah, I was just looking at
are you kidding me? Strengthen and Inspire in one. Plus it's got 6 hit points, but it's also going to have 7 because of that Strengthen. That's a tank, dude, for 1 mana. And it has that snipe defense tank opportunity, right? So all the time, I'll go tank 1, tank 2, and Shadowy Presence. Both my tank 1 and tank 2 are going to be melee. And then Shadowy Presence in the 3rd spot. He's buffing my first 2 tanks and giving them extra hit points. And then my archeries are in the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots because they're being defended by this thing. It's literally in every game that I play as death. I mean, I think anyways. I'm going to say 80% of the games.
Yeah, the Presence is a powerful card for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Untamed? What is that? I want to see the play.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of the 1-drop cards are very good.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I actually think the Chaos Legion ones are probably the weaker of the set.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of them, they don't have passive abilities; they have active abilities.
Look at this,
so then they have to be attacking.
Yeah.
Look at this win rate data. I'm surprised by this. 45% on the Shadowy Presence with 300 battles.
Well, you know what? I in my opinion, Death is kind of weak right now. I don't know what it is about it, but it just feels like it loses.